Hi everyone, Aidan here with etrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Benton Shifts&Grins Platform-Style 4-bike rack, and we're going to see how it fits in the back of our 2020 Hyundai Palisade. Now, for me, I always recommend platform racks to people because they're generally easier to load and more accommodating to different bikes, and this Benton rack is no different. It's going to hold the bike primarily by your front tire here, meaning it's a great fit for alternative frame bikes because we're not relying on that frame to hold the bike, or carbon frame, where you're maybe a little bit more worried about that frame or a nice paint job getting damaged with a hook crunching down on top of it. You do also get two wheel straps down on each wheel. It's going to hold that down and provide a bit more stability into these wheel cradles. And like you see, you can accommodate 4 bikes here, where these cradles can adjust side to side for different wheelbases and support 55 pounds per bike. For a 4-bike platform rack, that's about as heavy as you're going to be able to get. A lot of racks will give you, say, like a 60 and a 60-pound weight capacity, but their outer cradles will typically drop to something like 40 or 35 pounds per bike. So if you're looking to carry 4 heavier bikes, then this could be a really good option for you. But with all those heavier bikes, especially if you are fully loading it, you got to keep in mind the weight and how that'll affect the tilting. Now this rack has a handle and this button to tilt it away. And as you tilt it, because it's a 4-bike platform rack and it's quite large, it will bottom out and you're not going to get the full tilt out of it, which translates a bit more directly to not having full hatch access on our Palisade today. On our current setup, it does clear the pedals, but it's certainly not going to clear our handlebars. But this is more than enough space to sneak in here and grab some shoes, our bike helmets, an air pump if we need to air up before our ride, and be able to safely close it back down before lifting the bike rack up by that handle and letting it click back into the locked driving position. Just keep in mind again that if you have it fully loaded, it's going to be quite heavy. And at that point, I'd also recommend checking your hitch in your vehicle's tongue weight capacity so that you don't overload it, because fully maxed out, you're looking at over 300 pounds of tongue weight here, and that is going to be quite a bit for the vehicle and the hitch to handle. But let's get this bike unloaded, starting with our wheel straps. Because this isn't holding the bike upright, we want to do that first. That way we can just use both hands safely. The button will release that ratcheting strap, and it does have enough weight that you can swing it out of the way and it'll just hold itself down on the bottom there. Nice and out of our way, especially for hooking up. And the hook we can release with this button, pushing up, and if we needed to fully remove it, we could, but there's enough clearance here that I can just push it out, grab my bike, and be on my way. Because this is, again, a larger rack, you'll probably have to load that inner cradle a bit more from the side here, but there's really nothing in your way here that you can hit the bike on, so as you're loading it, it should be pretty easy. With this all unloaded though, we can take a few measurements, starting off with our ground clearance, which at the back end, the lowest point to the ground is this stopper that it was resting on when we tilted it, and that's going to be 18 inches. It does sit, for a 4-bike rack, pretty close, so I would watch out for steep driveways and hills, because this from the bumper sticks out almost 55 inches. So it's going to be quite long. As you're pulling up those steep driveways and hills, you're more likely to bottom out. And when you're just driving around parking, it's going to be really in the way and probably stick out of your parking spot a bit. When it's not in use though, you can press that same button we did before to fold it upright. And here you will definitely feel the weight of it a bit, but it'll lock in this upright position where now it only sticks out 18 inches from the bumper, a little under really. So you do save a ton of space this way. If you're the type of person to go biking with your family often or with a lot of friends and you need the 4 bikes all the time, then this would be a much better way to store it between uses. With it folded up, you will be obstructing a few things on the back of the car though, like your license plate and backup camera. You might get some visibility out of both of them, but it's a large rack and it will be blocking them pretty substantially. And with how tall it now sits, we are blocking a bit of our back window too. So if you're backing out with it folded up like this, I'd really rely on your side mirrors and just take it slow and be careful so you don't hit surrounding cars. The good thing though is that this rack is narrow enough that it's really not blocking your taillights at all. The Palisade has some narrow taillights to begin with, so you shouldn't have any issues obstructing those at all. Down at the bottom, it's working with our 2" by 2" receiver tube, and it comes with an anti-rattle bolt to keep things solid and secure in the hitch. Now this portion on the outside is going to be an alignment collar. When you first set this up in your hitch, you'll just push this tab forward till it hits the collar in your receiver tube and tighten it down so it doesn't move. Now, every time we take it out and put it back in the hitch, it's going to hit that stopper and align the hitch pinhole in the first try every time. This is going to save you a ton of time, especially if you leave it in the 4-bike configuration because it is quite heavy, and making the setup process easier is just going to save you time and energy. And if you did want to convert it from a 4-bike to a 2-bike, this is the portion where you do that. You remove this pin and clip and loosen up this hand knob to separate the two pieces, and it makes the process pretty quick. And for me, that ability to quickly swap between a 2 and a 4-bike rack is where this rack really excels, because there's not a lot of other options out there that do that. And if you're one that most often goes biking by yourself, maybe with another friend, but every now and again you are biking with your full family, then this is a really nice option because it allows you to carry 4 bikes when you need to, but downsize it to a much more manageable 2-bike rack when you don't have everyone with you. Because of that, I think there are a few points where it's just maybe not as stable because it is so quick to convert, it's just not going to be as solid. So for me, if you're not looking to carry super heavy bikes, I'd strongly recommend looking at something like the Hollywood Rack's Destination 4-bike rack. It's a platform style that can carry 4 bikes. It's very accommodating to children's frames and alternative frames. It has a lower weight capacity though, and it's going to just be a bit more compact. So if you only need about 35 pounds per bike, then I think that could be a really solid option. But if you do need that option to convert or carry heavier bikes, then the Benton Shifts&Grins I think is a pretty solid choice. And it's going to be a pretty okay fit on the back of our 2020 Hyundai Palisade. My name's Aidan, and thank you for watching.